Dropping Knowledge, where you get the information that makes us better than our competition. Hello, my name is Nathan Clark, and this is Dropping Knowledge. I want to welcome everybody here in Columbus, Sherwin-Williams to the channel. This is something that's going to live on YouTube. Dropping Knowledge was an idea that we came up with. We see a lot of people that need some more help with their technical information, maybe some operations or some selling tools or whatnot. That is what this is here for. We're going to put this out here on YouTube, and they'll live there for you to come back and look at any time. So let's get at it. Part of this channel is interactive. So if you as an employee sees a need that we have to send out to the district, whether it be technical or whatever it might be, please bring it to our attention. Contact us and we will be happy to do that. And if you want to do this, by all means, it's all up to you. I'll bring it to you. My name is Nathan Clark. I've been with Sherwin-Williams since 1999. I've been a rep since 07. About 13 years of that's been on the commercial side. And now I am focused on the commercial roofing industry. So I'm calling on owners of facilities, large real estate, commercial accounts. We're trying to repaint, we're trying to coat and restore commercial roofing. So that's a piece that we'll get into this at some point, but that's what I do. But today we want to talk about galvanized metal and how to paint it. So we've all seen galvanized steel in the past. It's kind of gray and a little shiny sometimes. And there's different types of galvanized metal. There's your typical galvanized metal that's kind of dull, and I'll show you some pictures here as we go along. And then there's Galvalume, and then there's a couple other types. But for the most part, we're just going to be talking about galvanized metal. So what is galvanized metal? So that is steel that has gone through a process called passivization with zinc, and it makes the steel bond to the zinc. So there's you take steel and you blast it, you get it prepped so that when they dip it into this vat of zinc solution that's kind of suspended in an oil, it actually bonds to the steel. And that typically, the chemical reaction that happens bonds that zinc directly to that steel, and it's not going anywhere. It actually gives up an ion to bond to the steel. So what's that means? It means the galvanizing will be a sacrificial coating. So that coating is going to stay on there. It's not going to typically like peel or chip or anything like that. What happens over time is it actually wears away. So on like a metal roof or like on bollards or anything like that that's been outside for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, you start to see, it's going to be a dark gray, and then you're going to start to see some of that galvanizing disappear as it sacrificed itself to protect that steel. And it's going to start to reveal some of the ferrous metal underneath, which will start to rust. So painting this is not an issue. And what we want to do is we want to stay away from any alkyd coatings, not oil-based. I mean, solvent-based products like macro epoxy would work, but we want to stay away from alkyds. So the acrylic systems like Procryl, Surecryl, or anything like that, if we have a properly prepped zinc or galvanized steel substrate, sticking to that's not a problem. But if we put Chem-Bond on there or oil-based dry fall or any myriad of those products, we're going to have a problem. The problem is called saponification. So when we apply an alkyd to galvanized steel, it's going to stick right at first. And you can take your finger and scratch at it, and it's going to look pretty. And you said, hey, it sticks. What are you talking about, Nate? We don't know anything. Well, actually, about a year later, we're going to start getting a phone call saying that this is peeling off in big curly chunks and whatnot. So what's happening is it's called saponification. So there's a reaction with the zinc and the alkyd resin, which creates a soap, and then that is a bond breaker for the paint coating. So that is what we don't want to do, is put any type of oil-based product on there. The good thing is going into next year in 2024, we will not have the alkyds at our disposal here in Ohio. So that will be, they'll take care of some of this problem. But for the most part, we want to use Procryl as your primer on that primarily. Epoxies work very well over top of galvanized. They love galvanized steel. So the epoxy resins are fine. Uh, when it comes to prepping galvanized, we want to make sure there's no passivization oils on there. So, like I said, you have a big chunk of steel that's been prepped, and they dip it in that tank with an oil suspension of that zinc. Um, that oil will actually rise to the top and stay on that metal. So you'll see a galvanized deck or like any type of structural steel it's galvanized. If you run your hand over top of it, it might feel oily. And if it sits outside for more than like 4 or 5 months, that typically goes away with the weathering, sun, rain, whatnot. That'll go away. But if it's inside, we have to do something. We have to degrease that. But we want to be careful not to leave any contaminants on there. There's a clean and etch is a product that we use quite often on galvanized. That is a acid-based cleaner. It's made by Great Lakes. It's a great product for galvanized. It will eat at concrete. So if we have like a concrete floor and a deck over top of it, we want to be careful using it in that situation. Any type of degreaser will also work. What we want to be careful for is to make sure we don't leave any of that degreasing soap on there. But that's it. We want a clean, dry, dull substrate. We want to use an acrylic on galvanized. You can use macro epoxy, but for the most part, it's pretty easy to paint as long as we follow those rules. So, again, this is your first drop of knowledge. If you have any topics that you want us to cover, please contact me and we'll be happy to do that. Thanks and have a great day.